Hi there. So I am here in beautiful Bend, Oregon. I hope you can hear me and see me. Today is an amazing day. It's the day after Steak and BJ Day in Czechoslovakia. It's like an international, fun, different type of holiday, Steak and BJ Day. On Steak and BJ Day, which is a full month after Valentine's Day, the theory is that women create or make steaks, maybe they grill steaks and give their partners oral sex, kind of as a like a fun reciprocation for all of the candies and flowers and chocolates that their partners gave them on Valentine's Day. So we're talking about head, but honestly, not that kind. Oral sex for the clients I work with is way down the line of things that they're usually talking about. My clients are talking about head, but it's getting out of their head, it's getting into their bodies that's concerning them. Oral sex is not even on the menu. What's on the menu is feeling disconnected from their bodies and trying to get out of their head into some kind of openness, some kind of readiness to be connected with a partner. So if this is for you, you need to listen up. If you're the person who's living in your head, this is for you. It's very common for us to become absorbed by our thoughts. And for these thoughts that we have that are so important. And I remember being like this when I had little kids. Like, I had so many lists. I have lists on lists, and I had legal papers or pads of paper all over the house. And I'd pull one piece off and I'd write another one. This is, of course, back in the day when, paper was actually a thing. Now it would be a Google document. But I remember feeling so distracted by my mind, by my head, by all of the thoughts that I had a lot of trouble feeling connected to my body. And of course, it's difficult to be intimate with a partner when you're not like actually living below the collarbone. So like what's below the collarbone? This stuff that's going on in your head is very distracting. And it may be impossible for you to feel connected in any way to your body, in any kind of openness, to find any kind of openness to being touched, to being held, to certainly to having any kind of penetrative or, kind of so-called real sex. Very tough for us when we are in our head, living in our head. I hear this constantly from clients, men, women, non-binary people. We're like just up in our head, thinking there's so many things happening. A lot of times there's anxiety associated with that, maybe stress. It's super challenging. So today I'm going to give you 3 ways to focus on that problem, to kind of shift that problem for yourself. And the first one is to recognize that it is a problem. Being in your head all the time means that you are imbalanced in your life. You're top heavy, right? You're top heavy. Think about the weightlifters who you like. Maybe it's a cartoon person who's all top heavy. Everything in the top, the upper body is completely built, but no legs to support him or them. For us, if we're in our head, it's almost like our head is way too big and we aren't in our body. So how can you, when you're somebody who's stuck in your head all the time and you know that this is true of you, you know that you're always feeling, kind of distracted by your thoughts, you have anxiety about your thoughts, the thoughts go around and around, they really don't get you anywhere. The list of to-dos never gets done because there's another wave of things to do and another wave of things to do. We will talk later about what that's coming from. And it's coming from, just spoiler alert, from some degree of trauma. This sense of being busy and having to stay busy that comes out of our mind is protecting us. It thinks it's protecting us from embodiment, from connection, because that is where the vulnerability is in our bodies. Our bodies are the feeling state. The thinking state is protecting us from the fear and the shame of not feeling good enough in lots of ways and for lots of reasons. So if this is you, if you're the person who's like buzzing in your head, your first step is to acknowledge that. Like, yeah, I'm like somebody who is a head person and not in a sexy way, right? I am somebody who has trouble turning it off. When I get in bed, I talk about Costco like all the time. I don't know why that is. Probably because I go to Costco all the time. But the Costco list is running, the project is running, what you're going to do tomorrow, what you didn't get done today, all of that stuff next week, all of the variables, how you're going to help somebody else, whatever that is, it's running in your head. And that running, that looping of thoughts is keeping you from connecting and dropping into your body. True statement. When you realize that, you're going to recognize the power that your mind has. And in this case, your mind is protecting you and it's keeping you from connecting to many, many things in your body. You might find that you get hurt. You might find that you aren't really as coordinated as you might be, or that you're not aroused. Honestly, that's a big, big indicator that you're too much in your head when you cannot, no matter how old you are or what stage of life you're in, if you're premenopausal, if you just had a baby, if you're pregnant, if you're postmenopausal, it's in your head, this thing that's running, that's keeping you from connecting to your turn on. I say this like powerfully. I believe this so much that it's not just our hormones. We like to think, oh, our hormones are off, and I'm down for that. I think it's great to get your hormones checked and like work on the physical. Yes, true. But there's so much in the mind body connection that's keeping you from feeling the sensation of grounding that you could have if you didn't live in your head. True statement. Now, you can use your amazing mind to build a connection to your body and to your arousal. And we'll talk about this another time. But your body responds to your brain, it responds to your mind and your thoughts. And you can use your mind to facilitate or build eroticism and turn on by using fantasy. And I don't mean you have to fantasize about somebody who's, on the front of a romance novel or whatever like that. I mean, using it to allow yourself to imagine a different relationship with yourself and with your partner where you feel open and fluid and accepting of sexual connection with that person and with yourself. It's always about ourselves. We're always asking 3 questions. Am I safe? Am I loved? And are you there? And I contend that the questions also go inward. I'm asking these questions of myself. Am I safe with myself? Am I loved by myself? Do I love myself? And am I there for myself? These are the questions we're asking all the time. So if this is you, my first suggestion to you is to recognize that it's happening, to realize that you are disconnected from your body in a way. It's something that's happened through your life, probably for lots of good reasons, things that helped you back in the day or at another time. But right now, it's safe to be more connected to your body. That's the first thing. Just recognition that it's true that you're living in your body and not, in your mind. You're living in your mind and not in your body. And that this is causing you more stress. It's causing you more stress. Number 2, empty your head. There is a finite number of things. There are a finite number of things in your head. There's a finite amount of content that's in there. Now, it may feel infinite. When you start to empty your head, It can feel just like an avalanche of thoughts. And as you go through these thoughts, you might be overwhelmed, honestly, as you start to empty your head. And what I mean by empty your head is release the thoughts and, the fears and all the things into a container. The container could be something like a journal, it could be a sketchbook, it could be a Google document, it could be any number of things, maybe a text message to yourself, whatever it is that feels safe to you to empty these things in. Maybe it's a piece of lined paper that you know you're going to throw away at some point, and you put it on a clipboard, old school clipboard. Emptying your head is the most important thing for you to do, because what that does is allows you to capture all of these thoughts. And they might go from, soup to nuts, whatever that means. What does soup to nuts mean? But it might go all over the place for you. You might have something about, getting your nails done, and another thing about working on the trust that you haven't done yet for your family, create a trust document, or something, a really important PowerPoint that you need to do for work, and something about, the fact that the dog peed on the carpet and you got to call Laura at Interior Carpet Designs to get her to come fix the carpet again. Hashtag that's my life. So when you allow yourself to just release all of these things, it will be a big list. Let it be a huge list. You do not need to prioritize. You do not need to focus on, shaming yourself. Please don't do that. Whatever's in there is in there. It's just your landscape, your inner landscape. Just let all that shit out of your head onto some kind of a paper or a document that will hold it for you. The whole thing, everything, put it down. And it may take some time. It could take, a couple hours, honestly. You might have a document or a piece of paper or several pieces of paper that you come back to over and over again as these things come up for you over a day, 2 days, 3 days. This is possible. Don't let that worry you. Just get this stuff out. It's kind of like vomiting out all of the thoughts that you have in your head. Get them out, all out, and then tuck them into this piece of paper or document. And when you know that they're all there, and the little ones that come up, the little kind of tiny things, the obsessive things, whatever they are, when you know that they're there, there will be a sense of relief that you experience. I guarantee it. Knowing that it's captured, that it's not here, it's here. And this will give you a sense of calm that you may have not experienced before. This master list, perhaps hundreds of things on it. I don't know how many things might be on your list. I don't know, maybe thousands of things. Who knows what's in your beautiful little head? I say this about myself constantly, like I need to empty my head, and Jim is so cute about it. He'll sit by me and say, okay, what is it? And, I like put all the things. And he's like, how can you hold all that stuff in your head? Well, it's in there. I don't know. I have all these variables. I have permutations of the variables, and it just needs to come out. Once it's out on my master list, I feel so much more relaxed because I know it's been kind of captured. It's held there in safety. I do recommend that you offer to your partner, if you have a supportive partner, or if you know someone who's not your romantic partner who can help you, I suggest that you have that person witness you and support you as you do your emptying of your head. So get all those things out of your head and onto paper or onto a document, and just let it be. Once that's happened, I recommend that you allow it to sit. Eventually, the next step is to prioritize it. So you're going to go through your list. And I mean, this is like productivity 101. You may have other techniques for this. I know that, you're amazing. You've got all sorts of things you've been working on. But something simple that Jim suggests to me and that I do now is to prioritize A, B, C, D, each of these things. And once I'm doing that, it's like, oh, I know what the A things are. These are the things that I have to do. I'm going to do these things. I might get down to D level things that are priority, very much lower priority. And that is something that I can put into a someday maybe pile. If you've done the work of David Allen, getting things done, that's kind of what he does. He moves some things away so that you don't always see those, but they're still there for you. You're holding them like in your little nest of things to do, things to worry about, all that business. So collect them, eventually prioritize them. Now, when you do this, you're going to feel a lot of relief. This will provide some openness for you. And what will eventually come for you is an ability to connect with your body. It's a remarkable thing for a person who's living above the collarbone in this sweeping kind of highly anxious area of floating words, thoughts, concerns like, oh my gosh, I forgot that. What? Oh, yeah, shit, that thing needs to go on my list, whatever. When those things are captured, and again, you can keep adding to that list. When those things are captured, now you have openness to have some grounding, some embodiment. And what I recommend in this case, number 3, is to have an embodiment practice with your partner. This is not a sexual thing. This is really what we might call cuddling, right? Cuddling or holding or being together in some non-sexual way is a great technique for letting your whole system settle, because your system is running and you have a heightened nervous system and you have dysregulation like so many of us do, and it's probably to some extent a trauma response. We've talked about that over and over. It could be a big T, like some significant trauma, grief, an assault, something like that, maybe a loss of a loved one, or it could be a small T, which would be something that is a kind of a micro assault or something that happens just in your regular life. When you have that, it's very hard to settle. But when you do allow your body to settle with a partner, and that person is also in a kind of a clean and clear headspace, and I don't mean like they just took a shower, although there's nothing wrong with that. I mean that they are able to be there with you without putting a bunch of expectations on you. This is a prerequisite to step number 3. Your partner is not there to get laid. They're not like, oh, we're going to cuddle. And so then, I'm going to get some of that. Not that. This is not a sexual thing. This is you and your partner lying together. And I'm going to give you more information about this later, but there's a kind of way to do that. But for now, I want you to just lie together, hold each other, be comfortable. Don't allow yourself to be kind of like one arm, like stuck underneath your head and your arm is going numb, or you're not aware of your arm, or somehow you're like holding on, like you feel tense, your neck's weird. Be clear about what feels good for you, and connect with your partner, snuggle, or you could be a spoon, whatever it is. If don't touch each other sexually during this experience. Please just hold each other at kind of a G-rated cuddle. When you do that, you're providing nourishment for your relationship, because there are really 3 things involved here. There's you and your nervous system. There's your partner and that person's nervous system. And then there's the connection, the relationship between you. That relationship needs nourishment. And when you're in your head all the time, it's very hard to nourish your relationship, because it's not like you can get there, right? You're not even there. Even when you're being held or cuddling or holding, hugging your partner, they can feel that you're not there. You're distracted. Something's gone. Part of you is not home. This is a situation where I want you to come home to yourself physically. and allow yourself to be present in a relaxing and calming time. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, 3 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that. I'm not talking about spending all afternoon lolling around and and hugging and hanging out. I mean a shorty, a quickie snuggle. Let yourself, though, even though it's quick, let yourself let go of your thoughts. Remember, your thoughts are carefully and safely tucked away in a document. But that's amazing. Your thoughts are safe. It's like your thoughts went to thought daycare. And it's a great daycare and it's free and they're over there being taken care of. When you come to pick them up, they will be exactly the way you left them. You can jump right back into where you were with your list and it will still be there for you. So during the cuddle time, let go of your list, let go of your thoughts, and just be with your partner. This is a beautiful practice, which, when done on a daily or many times a week basis, will help you in your relationship. It will help you, honestly. Jim and I did an activation of an attunement practice over the weekend. It was an attunement activation, and I'll be talking about this more coming in videos down the road. I talk with you a little bit about this on Saturday from my own house after we did it, because I was so inspired by people in the room and how this attunement activation practice impacted them. Long story short, it's just what I told you about. There's a couple of other details. This is a tantric sex-based non-sexual practice. So there's no nudity. It's completely clothed and non-sexual, but it is using the same energy that tantric sex teaches, which is basically being present for each other during a period of time, showing up for each other and allowing each other to be energetically connected. So you can do this too. And if you're interested in finding out more about the attunement activation practice, there is a link. I'll put a link in the comments to scheduling a virtual coffee with me, because I think this is a really great thing for us to do starting now on a daily or several times a week basis, to let ourselves energetically connect together before any sex starts. So this is not a sex thing. This is a connection, being with you, feeling you, allowing experience, so that when sexual desire is available to us, that we can access ourselves. And if you're in the female embodiment, that you can open yourself to your partner. Or if you're a person who's receiving male energy, you can open yourself to a partner. If you're a person receiving female energy, you can also open yourself to a partner. If you are a male who is giving male energy, your partner will be able to open for you, and you'll be able to produce what you want to produce for that person, be it an erection or your energy to provide them pleasure using oral sex, or some other technique that is important for you and your partner. Now, speaking of oral sex on a woman, I have really good news. April 14th, which is a month from yesterday, is Cake and Cunnilingus Day. So mark your calendars, because it's hard to get good cake these days. That's what I have for today. I hope you have an amazing day. I'm so looking forward to seeing my masterclass students in just a few minutes, and it's beautiful here in Bend. Crisp, wintry day. I hope that wherever you are able to let go of disturbing or invasive or just distracting thoughts. They might be great things you're thinking about, but they're distracting for this part of your life. This part that has to do with being present for yourself and for your partner in a way that decreases your stress. Decreases your stress. You're amazing. See you next week.